didn't find a deer.
We're live. I'd like to call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have our agenda in front of us, and I want to add one item underneath 5A. It'd be 5B, and it has to do with hiring Frost Brown and Todd. Any other additions, modifications?
No, I'll make a motion to approve with the addition on there.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Public comments. Chris, you're on the list here. Do you want to talk to us before or after the? Okay. So we have Travis Shepherd. He's going to tell us about how he's going to save that dam.
I'm not Travis, but Trevor Shepherd is here. The name is misspelled.
Okay,
Is there any place you want me to stand?
up here.
Up here, yeah.
Okay, right here?
Yep.
Okay.
That way the microphones can
Yes,
pick you up.
yeah, very good, very good. So my name is Mike Cox. I'm the State Conservation Engineer for USDA Natural Resource and Conservation Service, NRCS. This is Trevor Shepherd. Trevor is our Southwest Area Engineer, covers the southwest part of the state board. And so we're both here. We're wanting to give you an update in response to a June 21st, 2022 letter that was sent to the Perry County Stormwater District from the Perry County Board of Commissioners in support for rehabilitating the Deer Creek Dam. So I've got that. I'm sure you guys might remember that. So we're here just to give you an update on this rehabilitation project. The rehabilitation program, the goal is to rehabilitate all of the dams nationwide that were built through NRCS. There's about 12,000 of those nationwide. We have 134 in Indiana, and we have probably about 50 of those 134 that are high hazard. Deer Creek being one of those. It was built under public law PL 566, but there's some other federal funding programs that also qualify for rehabilitation. So that's one of the requirements. Part of the rehabilitation process, there's 4 different steps. The first one is an assessment of the dam. That was completed in December 2021. And this letter was sent after that assessment in support of that report and to move ahead with the rehabilitation. So the next 3 phases are planning, design or engineering, and then construction. So the planning phase is the one that we submitted a request for that funding to the NRCS, to our national office. We submitted that request in June 2023, so this past June. We found out on November 27th that we had received that funding for Deer Creek to complete the planning, complete that phase. So that was good news. We also received funding for 2 other dams in Indiana with Prairie Creek Conservancy District, Davies County. So we had submitted 3 dams for funding, and they all got funded. So that's good for Indiana. So the process now to complete this planning and environmental evaluation is NRCS. There's a engineering services contract that was competed nationwide, and there's different regions, and they call it IDIQ, where let's say the firm, they compete it nationally, this firm gets the contract, and then NRCS can go to that firm and different kinds of work, conservation work, work on rehabilitation of dams, any kind of engineering can go to this company. And so what we will do, we will fill out a scope of work. Trevor and I will put that together of what the steps are for rehabilitation. And then that will go to the engineering firm. They will give us a quote back, our national contracting folks. And if they're within line of what the funding amount is, then we will use them and we'll go forth with the rehabilitation, with the planning effort on that. So that will happen. Locally, there'll be, some people involved with that, developing the scope of work. But it shouldn't be very much involvement, or burden, I guess, on Soil Water Conservation District, the commissioners. Trevor and I will be probably the federal representatives, and it'll be a federal contract to complete that. So nationally, they've tried to really streamline the process, make it easy, find firms that have done this work. It's pretty complex, the planning, environmental, and so some of the local engineering firms really haven't done it, and so they find it hard to, complete the whole federal process. So that's the reason.
So I have a question.
Okay,
In that, I think it was either Banning.
yes, banning engineering out of Plainfield, yes.
If I remember correctly, they gave us like 4 options.
That's right.
So who picks the option, or how do you determine?
That will be part of this planning process. Yeah.
So they're gonna take all 4 of those potential options and then.
And possibly more. There's probably some other options that they may come up with in addition. The assessment is kind of a high cut looking at, what could we do, but this will dive even deeper into that. Because you'll have to look at, cost benefit of doing things downstream, is it still needed due to flooding? Are there any environmental things out there? Are there threatened endangered species? So there's a lot of things that they'll look at in addition to what they looked at in the assessment. But yeah, and I'm going to talk just a little bit more about that. Yeah. And I will say, let me also say that there's a handout that most people I think have gotten. It's about the watershed rehabilitation program. So it's front and back. That just tells you, nationwide what the program's about. And then also, I think I don't know if we hand out to everybody, but you have at least a summary of what I'm talking about here. So if you want to go back and reference that. So for the planning, this is at the bottom of the first page. There's 4 principal phases of work that would be done in the planning. There's a phase 1 that's goals, objectives, purpose, and need. So they look at, does the sponsor, why does the sponsor want to rehabilitate this? What's the purpose? Is it continued flood control? Is it continued recreation? What's the sponsor want to do? There would be additional inspections, surveying, hydrology, hydraulic analysis, possibly some more geologic, geotechnical analysis. That's something that was not done in the assessment. They didn't go out there and they didn't bore down to see what the existing soils are in the bedrock. So that is something that would be an addition. If you flip over there, there's also interagency consultation. So we'll definitely have to work with the Army Corps of Engineers, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, FEMA, state agencies, IDNR Dam Safety Division, IDEM, and possibly some other agencies. There'll be the development of a public participation plan. There'll be public meetings that this firm will come to Tell City. They'll, I'm sure they'll put something in the paper, put out there, at a certain time, like, commissioner meeting. We'll have this meeting for people that are interested about the dam and have concerns or in support of it. There'll also be consultation with the State Historic Preservation Office, SHPO. A lot of you probably heard SHPO. If there's any tribal governments or things that are involved for Indiana, we would definitely reach out to those groups. I don't know if we have a tribal historic preservation office in Indiana, but I know there's definitely some tribes or groups that would want to weigh in probably on that. So then the next phase 2, inventory resources, analyze resource data. So it lists there's environmental resources, economic resources, and social resources. Environment would be soils, wetlands, water quality, floodplain, fish and wildlife habitat? Are there any threatened endangered species nearby that possibly weren't there when we built the dam? Economic resources. I know this is probably more of a rural setting, I believe, with Deer Creek than some, but we'd look at if there was any urban. We'd also look at agricultural flood damages. Would it affect houses? Would it affect businesses, downstream roads? There could be some things that were built, since the dam was there that could be, a benefit to them, flood control. Recreation may be one on Deer Creek. I know I've definitely heard that. They would look at recreation user days, how many people go out there and fish and swim, things like that. And then current ag production downstream would also be another economic resource. They'd look at social resources. They'd look at the current and then historic watershed demographics, who lives there, who's downstream, commercial residential structures, transportation, roads, highways, things downstream, and then other social political factors, with the land use. So that's an inventory of the resources. And then the third phase, that's where we come into the alternatives, which would be similar to what they did in the assessment. They'd look at the development of all reasonable alternatives, upstream, downstream flood impacts. If we have to raise the dam, is that going to flood somebody, upstream that wasn't affected before? At the end of all that, there will be some preferred alternative that will be picked, and preferably it'll be one that everybody can live with, and it can be done. There may be something they come up with, but it is just not feasible cost-wise, or, maybe there's somebody upstream, there's a cemetery or something, and we just, cannot flood it. So hopefully, and I think based on what we had before, there were four fairly good, alternatives. Those had ranged from $1.1 million to $4.2 million. Obviously, the $1.1 million will look more attractive to me than the 4.2. So there's a good range there. So hopefully something can be done. Reasonable alternative, maximize net public benefits is what we're looking for. And then the last phase is preparation of the plan, the environmental document. That has to go through some different reviews. Nationally, there's reviews. It's sent out for public comment. So like anything, public nature, there would be some time there for input. And then there'd be a final plan. So then once we get all that plan done, then we can move on to the requesting funding for the engineering. And then once that goes through, we can request funding for the construction. So
I have a question
yes,
on all the plan.
yes,
I mean, that looks like a lot.
it is a lot. Yes.
And I don't know if there's a time frame that has to be
Yeah.
on each phase.
Well, basically for the planning, NRCS nationally wants it done in 12 months.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
All of it
Yes,
together.
yeah,
They
all
want it
together
done.
in 12 months. Now, can it happen in 12 months? Maybe. 18 months, maybe more likely. That's what I've heard nationally from my peers in other states.
No, that's on the planning. That's not on
Yeah.
the construction.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's just
That's
on the
right. That's
planning
just
part.
the planning. The planning is probably one of the lengthiest part, I would say. It's drawn out.
Because, I mean, it
Yeah.
looks like, you need to have
Yep.
meetings, you need to advertise, you need to,
That's
and all
right.
this, and I'm going,
You're exactly
that's
right.
a long time.
That is a long time. That is a long time. It's a long process. There's a lot of input that's needed. There's a lot of federal, statutes and
Mhm.
rules and regulations. So, yeah, we have to do everything right in that part of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So at the bottom there, I just wanted to kind of highlight what, once we get to this point where we would do the construction, these are kind of some of the sponsor responsibilities at the bottom. And the big one obviously is when we come into construction, the sponsor has to provide 35% of the construction cost. So let's say if we're $1 million, Perry County, in some form or fashion, we have to come up with $350,000. Federal would fund the $650,000. So that's probably the big one. That's the hard one for a lot of our owners, conservancy districts, parks that have high hazard dams is, coming up with that 350 plus. The other responsibility, obtaining land rights. So let's say, we needed to widen the auxiliary spillway, but they don't have an easement. We'd have to get land rights to do that. Or let's say we're going to flood upstream farther. We'd have to, there'd have to be land rights obtained for that. So that's kind of a little bit of an unknown till we have that final alternative. So,
But now that is national forests out there. I think they're the ones that control the area
so
around the dam.
that's probably going to be easier, I guess, maybe.
You're from the
hopefully.
USDA, right?
I am.
Don't they work under you?
Well,
Okay, you got a little influence on them.
we're a sister agency. Yeah, we're both in Department of Agriculture. That's correct. Yeah. And the Forest Service has had some turnover, but I think we do have a good relationship with them through the years. Yes. So, yes, hopefully that's easier. Yeah.
And then I think the next question is, the money is going to be a challenge, but then, this is like a lot of the other national forest lakes that we have in the county.
Yeah.
Once this is corrected, would they take that responsibility back over the Forest Service? Because,
Of the lake.
because right now, I mean,
can't
it is,
answer that.
it's a burden.
Yeah.
And if we got it up to that was something we.
If it came up to standard,
Yeah.
Could they possibly take it back
sure.
over
Right. Yeah.
and off the county's, well, I hate to put it this way, off the county's backs?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I mean, I would think it would be more attractive to them, yes. But I can't answer.
Can't speak for
I
that.
can't speak for the Forest Service. Yeah. The other is any required permits. There will be permits that are needed to do the work. I don't think those will be very lengthy since we've been through the whole planning process and the environmental side of it. So I think that would be fairly straightforward. Probably more with DNR, Division of Dam Safety, and they want these brought up to standards, the state standards. So I think they would definitely, I don't think that'd be an issue. Operation and maintenance, with all these, there was operation and maintenance plan for, the first one's written for 50 years. This one, I'm not sure if it would be written for 75 to 100 years, but there would be an agreement between NRCS and Perry County Commissioners, Perry County SWCD, jointly, that somebody would agree to maintain it for,
It'd be the same kind of commitment they did when he built it.
Same commitment as when it was built. Now, if it did go, hypothetically, if it did go to the Forest Service, then you'd be absolved of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they maintain the other lakes.
Yeah.
This is
Right.
just kind of a
Right.
unique one.
Right.
When was this actually built, do you know?
Trevor?
It was in the 70s, I know.
It was in the
I think.
70s.
What, late 70s? We can find that out if you really need it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I figured that's probably what, about the late 70s.
Yeah. And then the last thing is be required to develop an incident and emergency action plan, which that's, you should have one now. I don't know.
I think we do.
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit about that, but that is, that's I think a new requirement for high hazard dams with DNR. I think that was just passed maybe last year.
It used to be an option, and I think now they passed it as
Yeah.
a requirement.
Yeah. And I don't know what the grace period, or once you have the plan in place, I'm not sure if you have to revise it every so many years. I'm not sure on that. But yeah. So I guess in summary, it's good news. I mean, not everybody gets funded, even for the planning. And I think once you get funded for the planning on the national level, you're more attractive to get the design and the construction money. Because federally, they made an investment. They made an investment, and they would like to see them. I mean, the planning's great, but that doesn't look good nationally if you don't take it all the way
Complete the
through.
project.
Complete the project. Because
So-
nationally, they want to say, we funded this many projects and they were rehabilitated. Yeah.
So if we take the first step, the second step might come a little bit easier.
Right. And, all this, it just depends on funding. Watershed funding has been really, really good the last 5 years. And we kind of expect that to continue. So it's a good time, I think, to get in the ball game. Yeah.
So what action do you need from us? Nothing?
No, don't need anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but we will definitely keep the SWCD and the commissioners informed as we go ahead, and you'll know, like, okay, we're under a federal contract, there'll be some of these meetings and things that the engineering firm, so, we'll keep everybody informed as we go, so.
For the public's, since that's brought up in a public meeting here,
Yes.
that dam is in good shape.
Yes.
It's not a high hazard dam,
Uh,
really. It wasn't built as a high hazard dam.
Right, but there are things downstream
Stream that made it,
that makes
became
it
a
a
high
high,
hazard dam.
that's right,
Yeah,
that's right.
it's not anything to do with the dam
Yeah,
or anything.
it's not maintenance, there's nothing structural that has been found.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, we've been
it's-
dealing with this.
Yeah.
Well, when the permit expired
Right.
several years ago,
Yeah.
so.
And that's the way with a lot of them, things have been built downstream, homes and things, there's, not much zoning in some of the rural counties.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And what we got to look at too on the highway department is we got several bridges downstream. If that would ever be taken out for a reason
Right.
that we couldn't do anything else, that was one of the options back
Yeah.
when the permit came up. We don't want that.
Yeah.
We want to try to save the dam.
And part of this, they will look at, one of the alternatives or the things they will look at is decommissioning. They will always look at that,
Mhm.
and they'll, probably try to look at what kind of damage would it cause downstream if they took it out. Yeah. So that will always be one that we'll look at, so.
Roughly, Steve, how many bridges we got below that dam? Three bridges, so
$1 million a piece.
could be.
Yeah, each, isn't it the probable maximum precipitation around here, twice that? So it's about 26, 27 inches of rain.
Yeah, it could be more like
46 hours.
28. It's probably 28 down
inches.
here. Yeah.
In 4 hours?
24.
24 up there.
In 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's what we was told.
There's a couple of different scenarios they run, but yeah,
I think we're gonna have some issues with the get 28 inches. of rain.
Well,
Oh, we're gonna have more than bridge issues.
you're the highest in this corner of the state. It's the lowest in the northeast part of the state. So that's kind of what it is.
The question, when I first heard that from the forestry, I said, can that happen? He said it happened in Columbus, Indiana, and happened in Missouri in 24 hours. Had that much rain. So it can
In
happen.
Indiana, we've seen like half of that fall in a pretty short amount of time, not 24 hours, but there's been 12, 14 inches of rain fall in 6 hours in Indiana. Yeah. So, the 28, 24,
Because that's what I was saying, the probable maximum precipitation was like 14 or 13 or 14, and then they want you to double it.
yeah.
So you can handle.
But there are places like Texas and places with hurricanes where they've got 50 inches of
Sure.
rain
Yeah.
in 24 hours.
I don't
So
think we're gonna get that.
I believe they look at the weather and just like what's the kind of the holding capacity of the clouds. And just if everything was perfect and you had the perfect storm, how much could you get out of the atmosphere? So.
Only comment I got, that dam was put in for a purpose 50 some years ago. If that purpose is still there. So
Yeah,
we need
right. Yeah,
to try to take care of it.
exactly. Yep. Understand. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep it there and get it up to standards. So, all right. Anything
you.
else?
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Thank you.
Public comment, it might take longer than anything we do tonight.
I know. Good evening. I wanted to check with you guys as, in reviewing things, the edit plan is set to expire at the end of this year, as it's December, or 2019. So I wanted to see where we are at with the edit plan, as I will be receiving edit funds in January. I need to know. the plan
I
for
started
that.
working on it.
Okay.
So once I get something put together, I'll share it with you.
Do you think you'll have something by the 28th meeting, or?
Possibly.
And then I hadn't heard anything on contracts yet. So I've started with a list of some contracts. that we need to make sure we take care of next week. If you guys want to compile a list and email me as well, where I can.
Some of them are just rollovers, I think.
Mhm.
Some automatically, if they're not
Yeah.
changed, but I think like Glenn's cleaning is probably one we sign every year as an
Yep,
example.
I've got the list of Glenn's. We've already done the Evapra because it was in November. I've got Caitlin's for the probation or the prosecutor's office.
Cleaning.
We've got the PCDC, but I didn't know I think we need to, I would just recommend that we at least review all contracts, even if we don't have to renew, where we don't, I know we talked about this at the last meeting, but I really want to compile a list of contracts that we have, and I'm trying to make a fresh start on that. And that's why I'd asked you guys for that, because right now we just need to build a starting block of where we're at. So I started compiling a list because we'll need to do those contracts next week before that. So plus we've got the PCDC contract. So I had Glenn's cleaning.
It's going to be tied back into the edit plan.
Correct.
So
Both of those really need to be done before the first of the year, the edit and the PCDC, so it doesn't tie up funding. So that's all I wanted to bring up.
all right, thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Next item we have is minutes from 12/4/23. I assume everybody had a chance to read them. If you got any comments or changes,
I'll make a motion.
a motion to accept it,
I'll second that motion.
and we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. Next is the payroll for 12/18/23 in the amount of $167,420.27. And Chris, you've ran the first round with the new system. How'd it go?
It has been very good for us to do the time and attendance. We're on 2 weeks of it. It's allowed us to work out some kinks, some things that we had overlooked, like having the bereavement option was something that came across over this payroll, and the employees we hadn't had that, we've added that. So we've had minor things to work out. As far as that, Kelly and Lane with Ann Island are going to start tomorrow. He was in today, but it was just too crazy. So I know that they're going to start with our first trial upload. So we've
So
ran
you
some
haven't
trials.
uploaded it yet to allow
We've
you-
done some trials like without, but not an actual live. So we're going to do our first live. Try that. So yeah, everything seems to
Hopefully
be
everything will go good.
going okay. Yeah.
At least you're getting the bugs there, right?
Yes.
Thanks. So I'd entertain a motion to accept the payroll as presented.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that
For
motion.
the motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Next item up is 12/16/23 payroll withholding of $35,783.77.
I'll make that motion to
We
approve.
have a motion
I'll
to
second.
accept and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Health insurance claims, $8,942.33.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion
Second that motion.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Flex spending, $315.50.
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hey, Randy.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want, Rebecca, last meeting you had asked about the flex, and I did look into it, so I want to make sure everybody has the flex. They will have 90 days from January 1
Okay.
to spend their 2023 flex funds.
Because that'll be
So,
up in March.
Yep.
It'll be the
March.
first
Okay.
quarter,
first
Yeah.
quarter.
and then we'll no longer have that.
All right, great, thank you.
And Randy, that might have happened when you weren't here. That's just a,
I remember, I watched the meeting, so.
yeah, okay, so you're up to speed.
I
on
was
what
keeping
we-
up there, so.
Okay. The next one is we have approval of the claim docket. 12/19/23 claim docket is for $179,431.33. One question I had, Chris, there's a an invoice in there from an elected official. Do we have the conflict of interest statements that would need to go with that invoice? Do you know?
I'll have to look into that.
Okay, because I think that's a state requirement. We don't want the State Board of Accounts questioning that.
I think we do, but I don't want to answer off the cuff, so
Okay, so
I'll check on that one.
would it be okay to pull that one out, you think?
And
then
we'll
do it
hold that till the
28th?
28th.
Yes,
Yep.
let's just pull that one out and she can, and if you don't have them, just get them filled out.
Okay.
That way they're on
I think we
record.
do, but I can't, yeah.
Okay.
Because we got a good report card last time.
Yeah,
With
pretty
State Board
good.
of Accounts.
Yeah, few things that need work, but we're working on
Yeah,
it.
Did you see the did you notice the withholdings is on?
what's that?
The withholdings, this is the first meeting, the withholdings are on there.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
that for the meeting? So we're good.
So I'd entertain a motion pulling out the one, I think it was $8,650 or something, I can probably tell you. Let's see, 8,650 is what it was.
650.
Yeah, 8,650. We'll table that until we make sure we have all the proper conflict of interest statements completed, and then consider that on the 28th with that group.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. The next one is approval of the bond disbursements to Cash Wagner Enterprises. There's not a number on that, but it's
Sorry, I got the two from here for you.
44,000 or something in that neighborhood.
Sorry.
And this was in conjunction with part of the land.
42,000,
Is that what it is?
the 42,475, is that
Yep,
right?
and then there's the second one that I sent you guys today that came in that I wanted to go ahead and.
For 15,315. And what's that one for?
And it all
Is that part of the same?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's part of they provided some environmental ground out
Yeah,
in place of some of the other ground that was used down at the Riverview. And then the is it Squirrel Road or, no, it's Swiss Road or something.
Swiss Road,
Used
yeah.
to be Squirrel.
Switzer Road, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was a 5-year agreement. I think this is the last year. This is the last payment, if I remember. So,
Well, shall we take?
yep, we signed the deal.
I make a motion.
I'll second that
We
motion.
have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Steve Howe, you're up. And we're gonna tell you no.
We really are.
No, with a Merry Christmas on it.
Yeah.
I'm asking for you guys to sign a letter of support for community crossings for next year.
Why would we want to do that?
Well, it's $1.5 million.
It's $1.5 million.
Yeah, see that.
And we've had luck for the last few years, very good
Been
luck.
lucky every time we applied.
There
I
you
hope that
go.
continues.
It's a good deal for us.
You got plans for the extra, or how much more can you do with if you get the 1.5 million?
Well, I got it, I'm getting estimates on 4 different sections of road. I didn't know about this $1.5 million till last Wednesday or Thursday
Mm-hmm.
that they'd raised it, so I'm going to get some more estimates on some more connecting east-west connector roads with these, that tie in with these 4 sections that we're going to try to do.
Okay, could you email me what roads you're gonna be doing?
Yeah.
Next year? Okay, I
I can tell you,
appreciate it.
it's Opera,
What is it?
Opera,
Opera?
Leopold Oreo,
Oil Township.
Opera?
Leopold Oreo. Camargo,
Margot?
Camargo, Camargo. Mark, what's the name of that other one up there in Siberia? Going into Siberia off one.
See, I used to know these roads, but these new names they got.
I knew a while ago, but I can't think now.
That's okay, that's okay.
It's one from 145 into St. Mindred. That Camargo goes from, or not St. Mindred, Siberia. The Camargo goes from Siberia back to 62.
Okay. They used to
Carlisle.
have, I know all the old names.
Carlisle.
That's
is the name
nice,
of it.
yeah.
Carlisle.
You going from 62 to Siberia or from 145 to Siberia?
Both,
The whole connection?
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
east-west connector between state roads.
And that's what you have so far with the community crossings 1 million, and you can do
Yeah,
more
I
with
haven't got the
1.5.
estimate yet, but I was thinking that would take care of the million. So if we can get another, if estimates come in right, we'll try to do maybe Branchville. I'm not sure yet. I need to look around a little more, but Branchville ties in from the prison to Oreo,
So that's headed south, right?
and that's east-west.
East-west, okay.
So did you ever contact the state to see
I
what
sent
happens?
them
if
an
we
email. I called and left a message, and I didn't get a call back yet. And I sent an email, and I got an auto reply that she's out of office this week, and we'll be back next week, so.
What I asked Steve, see, this year, he ended up having quite a few extra projects that he thought would use his whole $1 million up. And then they came in on the cheap compared to the year before, which they were ridiculously high. And that's what I asked, whether there's a way for us to add additional roads. And then if they're in excess of the 1.5 million, we can claw back some of it. So we can maybe utilize that entire community crossings grant 100%.
Yeah,
But it's really hard to determine what prices are gonna be because we don't know where oil will be
Yeah.
come springtime. Right now, it's reasonable,
Yeah.
but is it gonna be that way in the spring? You don't know.
Then you get the bids first, then you gotta rebid them when you get the money, so that could change
I
too.
gotta get an estimate,
Estimate, that's what I mean, yeah,
And-
estimate.
and then, but that's right now I'm getting an estimate. This will be for next year. And we don't
Then-
know what the prices are gonna do.
Exactly.
too bad you can't get them locked in.
Yeah.
You know, they don't like doing that.
No,
They're not gonna lock it in without us having the money.
Yeah.
But it's, I know you were, what, at 160,000? That one resurfacing and it dropped down to 80 or something. It was
Yeah.
like double the money.
Our
It was only that
estimate, according to their estimates, what we did this year would have been 1.5 million. And it come in almost a 500,000 less than what our estimates were.
Isn't that something? It just,
And that's what's tough about it.
We
And
were awarded $1 million, we were only getting 846,000,
Yep.
which is all
all
up
we
there,
use.
nothing, but
for sure,
it'd been nice to got that other.
that other 150,000 and done some other roads.
that can go a long way.
And you can't, once you're awarded, you can't, if you're awarded $1 million, you can't reapply that year, you know, for
Yeah.
the difference between the
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, when do you have to have this in?
January, it opens January 2nd, closes January 30th.
Yours will be put in January 2nd, right?
Yeah, part of it, I'll
Yeah.
start on it then.
Yeah, there you go.
I like to put it in and look it over and.
Yeah.
And if you make a mistake on it, I was told if there's a mistake on the application, they're automatically kicked out. I was told that by a girl in Vincennes that looks them over.
Mhm.
So I don't get in a big hurry. I want to get them in about 2 weeks' time.
Make sure
Seems
you're
like
right.
you've done everything right the last few
Well,
years, getting that community crossings grant.
We've been really lucky with it.
It helps. No
Yes,
question
Sure it
about it.
does.
No question.
I'd also like to, he said he's working on the edit plan. I hope you guys keep in mind, that's where most of our match for community crossing comes from, and that's where about all of our other paving comes from, is from that edit plan. So be gentle with the highway department on that.
We always are,
Okay.
always.
And,
Put that on your pencil there when you put 50% down there.
and I did find out that we did receive the 600,000 for the distress road loan, so as soon as the weather's fit this spring, we will be bidding for Acorn and Brushy Fork to get that surface, hopefully early in the year.
Okay, that's not gonna come off of the, community crossings, right?
No.
No, that's.
And I'm still
Distress road.
working on these millings,
Okay.
so as soon as I find out something, I'll let you know.
Okay, all right, thank you all.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Steve.
I guess we signed that. I think we need to take a vote on that. We just signed it. Approving, Steve applying for community crossings in 2024. I'd entertain a motion for that.
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next item we got is the engagement of Frost, Brown, and Todd to represent us in a specific legal matter. I'd like to have a motion to
I'll make
engage
a
in
motion.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor? 3-0. Open the fuel bids. We have one bid.
Is this for?
It's for gasoline, I'm sure. So we didn't have a bid the last time.
Oh, that's right, we didn't have one.
Same thing happened to us last year. And it's for 30,000 gallons plus or minus for county police vehicles, CNS Incorporated. And their offer is 5 cents per gallon discount off the posted retail price at the time the vehicle is fueled. 4 different stations. It's all 4 that's located in the county,
That's 30,000 gallons?
plus or minus.
Okay,
So it's basically, whatever you use.
Yeah.
This is what they've done, I think, as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Randy, that's all.
Ever since I've been commissioner, it's always.
Yeah. So they're the ones that got most of the stations here in the county and
That's the only ones that ever bid on that one, so.
so I'd entertain a motion to accept that bid.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next item we have up is Purdue Cooperative Extension Service Contract, which it's another formality that we sign every year.
I hear they sent that to me. I know they have to have this submitted to the Purdue Extension Office. That's why she wanted me to get it to this meeting so she can send it to them. So
It's the same as
same
last year.
thing, yes. It just couldn't wait till the 28th when I'm doing all the other contracts.
The other last one was 11/17/23, and that is 87/105.
Any comments?
Like everything in place, so I'll make that motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Okay, our organizational meeting. And I think that one, it's kind of proposed to be held on January the 2nd. I think the council is having theirs in the evening on the 2nd. So,
Oh, ours will be in the morning.
yeah, so you want to have it at 9 o'clock? Does that work for everybody, or,
Yeah.
I mean, just so we can have
It'll
it
be the
whenever?
first Tuesday of the month, won't it?
I don't even know.
Yeah,
Is it
I
Yeah,
Tuesday?
that's what it looks
That's
like.
what we do anyway, isn't it?
Nope, first Monday.
First Monday. Okay.
But we're not coming in here on New Year's Day,
Well, I'm not either.
so.
Yeah, that's on Monday. I would like us to look at, I had sent an email out to you guys with the schedule, which we could talk about at January 2nd. So if you want to look at that, I think it'd be better. I've spoken with the council president as well, that I think somehow it seems like we need to work. I think that the commissioners need to switch to the first and third, like the first Monday and the third Tuesday.
That's what we do.
I thought you were the fourth.
No.
We need to do the council before you guys. That's what it is, sorry. Switch the council, because the council does the fourth and you guys do the third. Because it's the timing of getting things with the claim docket, I almost need the council somewhere in the middle, because it's like things are having to wait a whole month. We necessarily don't have so much of an issue until the latter part of the year, like with the transfers and additional appropriations, to where things are having to wait. So I just wanted to make that suggestion, that it might help to swap those two, but
Well,
whatever.
will that hurt? We'll have 2 meetings really back to back.
Yeah, that's what
Well,
happens to us. I
first-
mean, either way, if we
Either
went to
way.
the 4th, then we'd end up having one on the first, it'd be a week later.
That's true.
When you sit here and look at the calendar, because I've looked at this, and sometimes you know how it seems like we have them real quick, and then next thing you know, we have them
Yeah.
some odd, the first doesn't hit on the Monday, so we're now to the 7th. And then we have one on that Tuesday, which is like a week or so later. I mean, it's how the
don't
calendar
know.
falls. There's really not an easy way
There's
around
not.
this. It's just one of those things.
I try to look at it too, but if you guys want to look at that too, where you're thinking, just because it just seems like I'm having to wait to get to the council. Yeah, it'd almost be really nice if the council met every other week, which I know is a little much, to where you'd be doing anything where you guys would meet one week, that, I know that's a lot and be a lot for me, but anyway, but things are having to wait so long, especially if they have to go to the council before they come to you. So they've already, if I get it the beginning of the month, then I've got to wait till the end of the month and then go to the next month. And then it's delaying a lot of things, and I think it would be minimize some of the emails and phone calls. Like I said, in a nice world, it'd be good to do every other, but I know that's a lot. But you guys are meeting every other. There's so much delay with and like I said, latter part of the year is when we really have it with the additional preparations and transfers and stuff that it's just delaying things. So.
Would the second Monday and the fourth Tuesday work better?
You're still doing the same thing.
Yeah, it really is.
You're
You're
right.
exactly
And then depending
right.
on how the calendar falls.
And they
you're gonna
go
be
in the
Yeah.
third, and
I don't
So
think,
anyway.
I don't think we're necessarily the problem, because we're meeting 2 times a month.
2 times, yeah.
It's really.
I was trying to
It's the
see.
council.
we're trying to get the council in the middle. We're before the
Yes.
council.
Somewhere where they can approve the funds
Yeah.
before we're asked to pay for it.
Yes.
And that's one of the things, as long as they're within their budget, it's not a big deal. It's everything.
Yeah, I'd be looking at like 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. Is that what you're saying?
No, one and 4,
And
or
3.
no, 2 and,
Either way, we're 2
We're
weeks
still
apart.
2 weeks apart.
It doesn't, it's just how it
well,
works.
if they're dead in the middle of the month, that would.
It's the council she needs to
Yeah.
convince.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true.
We'll
He
talk
was
about it.
agreeable.
So
He was agreeable.
Yeah, it's
I'm just over here going,
Yeah, but I'm retired.
yeah.
right.
So are we okay with the 2nd at 9? Gonna do it that early? I mean, I don't care.
Yeah.
Have an organizational meeting?
I think that's when we usually have it, right after New Year's. If
Yeah,
it's,
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So January the 2nd,
it's gonna be a night meeting.
nope,
No,
9
morning.
AM.
Right.
Okay,
not 9 at night, Randy.
that's when I'm available.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay, so that'll be our set for that. And our next meeting is 12/28/23, and my assumption with that is it's gonna clean up a lot of the details.
Is that gonna be joint with the council?
The council's at 5,
Okay,
and then you guys are at 6.
okay.
It might be good. We're gonna do all of the, well, no, that's the phone. I will be giving out all the board appointments to you guys at this meeting to review for the 2nd. And then it'll be our final claim docket. So it really shouldn't be anything. And then we need to do the contracts, so
Mhm.
it shouldn't
Just kind
be,
of cleaning up the business.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Okay, so we'll meet the 28th
28th.
next, and then the 2nd.
Yep.
Okay,
with that said, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thank you.